Nigeria, a vibrant tapestry of places, people, stories, struggles, and unshakable spirits. Politicians make promises, but who really holds them accountable? I'm Donu, and this isn't just about politics. This is about us. This is where we confront the hard truths that few say publicly. Hello everyone, welcome to Nigeria Unfiltered. So last week I presented you with a video in which I expressed my views about Nnamdi Kanu, the Biafra activist and leader of IPOB. Well, unsurprisingly perhaps, I got a pretty large response, much larger than normal. There are only two people who have attracted more responses and reactions than Nnamdi Kanu, at least on my channel, Peter Obi and Prince Harry of the United Kingdom when he came to Nigeria last year with his half-black wife, Meghan Markle. So, Nnamdi is a huge celebrity in that sense, and I want to thank all the people who completely understood the points I was making and contacted me privately or publicly via social media to congratulate me on echoing their own opinions. It's always nice when people agree with everything you say, and a lot of people told me that they agreed with everything I said. And I must say that it was almost without exception. That positive reaction was almost without exception from educated people, particularly Igbos, okay? Then there were people who kind of like half agreed with me and half disagreed with me. And to those, I will say, I come in peace. Thank you for sharing some of your disagreements with me, because many of you did it in a very civilized way. That is, you agreed with some of the points I made, but not all of the points I made. And I regard such, I'm always grateful when people contact me with criticism that is sometimes constructive. It's good to hear other people's point of views. I'm not God. I don't know everything. I don't live your life, okay? So if, let's say you're living in Onitsha or Aba, and you have a love for Nnamdi Kanu, or at least if not a love for him, you understand him better than I do, because I do not live in the southeast, right? Even though my mother is Igbo and my father was the Biafran ambassador to London during the first Biafran outing in the 1960s, the Biafra of today is not something I'm familiar with. And so I appreciate those who try to explain to me where they stand and why they have some sympathy for Nnamdi Kanu and the whole IPOB issue. So I come in peace and very, very happy to engage with people who may not agree with everything I say, but disagree in a civilized way. Okay, then there are those who were just downright abusive, pouring all kinds of nasty words on somebody who is in many instances old enough to be their mother. And you know, all I can say to people who go around insulting in that very visceral, vicious way is you have no home training and you are riffraff. And there's nothing anyone can do about somebody who has no manners at all and does not know the difference between legitimate disagreement and bush, rattish, bad behavior. Okay, so, you know, at my age, I cannot be expected to agree with young men running around terrorizing people and burning houses down and bullying traders and professional people and anybody who has work to do, preventing them from going to work with this their sit-at-home order. And my view is that these things should be spontaneous. Let those who support you support you. Let those who don't want to be too involved in your war against the system go about their lawful business, okay? I mean, I know how I felt when Rivers State was subjected to a state of emergency that I thought was extremely unfair. I was really annoyed with Rivers people who didn't want to go out on the streets protesting and who did not share my passionate anger about the situation. But I respected their right to have a different perspective. So one of the things I don't like about IPOB is this complete inability to allow other people to have a different opinion and to assume a kind of overbearing leadership over an entire group in which many people do not agree with you. Okay? One of the things I said last week that really upset me about IPOB was that they burned down the house of Ambassador George Obioso, a man I didn't know that well, but was very fond of. I met him a couple of times. Quintessential gentleman, and I did not see why, at his age, I think he must have been in his 80s, why he should be subjected to such violence. And anybody who cannot understand my distaste for that type of behavior lives on a different planet from me psychologically, and we'll just have to agree to disagree. But please, if you want the world to sympathize with your struggle, try and be a little bit more civilized. Another thing I don't understand is if somebody agrees with you on maybe 2 out of 5 issues, why do you have to treat them like an enemy? So I say that I complained about Igbophobia, whereby Igbos are discriminated against politically, especially. I complained about the fact that Nnamdi Kanu had received harsher treatment than other people, some other people whom the federal government regards as terrorists. I mean, we keep on hearing about jihadi terrorists in the north who have been rehabilitated and given jobs in the army or whatever. So I did actually say that I thought that President Tinubu should seriously consider giving Nnamdi Kanu the same kind of, how do I put it? He should give him the same opportunity to be rehabilitated if he expresses remorse. Okay? I have the same problem actually with some of these, in the midst of this debate about whether there's a Christian genocide going on in the north or not. There are some Muslims who completely understand the concerns of Christians, even if they think that there are aspects of the Christian narrative that are unfair. And then there are some Muslims who, even if you say, oh, I know many decent Muslims, oh, I voted for the Muslim mayor of London, as long as you do not join them in claiming that there is no bad Muslim, no terrorist Muslim in the world, it's all fake news, if you don't join them, you suddenly become the most evil person on the planet. And Nnamdi Kanu's people, many of them are like that. And you know what struck me is that extremists have a lot in common. You know something, even though Nnamdi's people are always insulting Northerners and calling them Nama and Fulanis and all kinds of pejorative hate speech terms, they actually, in terms of personality, are more like the equally extreme Muslims than they are like some of their fellow Igbos. And I think, it's the same thing with some Northerners, some Northern Muslims. They have more in common with Nnamdi and his crowd than they do with the peace-loving Muslims, of whom there are many in the world. Okay, so all I'm saying is, well, extremists, they're very difficult to cope with. Many of them are very rude, very unpleasant. I mean, I am critical of people too myself. I mean, I'm not a saint, but I've criticized Tinubu, I've criticized Donald Trump and other people in the past. But there's a limit to the kind of wording I will use. I don't sink into the gutter, but like I said, those who insist on being gutter dwellers and badly behaved characters should continue, because they can't really injure those who don't take them seriously and just wish that they were better. Okay? So finally, I want to say that one of the things that made me smile was that a lot of people, online and offline, would say to me, Madam, or Donu, if they know me personally, you know, you have Igbo blood and you're very straightforward and you have courage and, you know, you'll be a good leader. Why don't you come and join the Biafra struggle and provide, since you think Nnamdi is not a good leader and is in any case, he's not available at the moment because he's in prison in Sokoto. Why don't you people like you come in and reshape the movement and take it forward in a healthier way? That is the movement, because just the simple movement for more justice for Igbos, because, you know, that's a very, very legitimate cause, in my opinion. Anyway, to those who think that I should play a leadership role within the Igbo sphere, thank you very much. I'm glad you think highly of me, but I'm better at sitting on the sidelines, complaining about other people's performance or praising other people's performance or just generally commenting. I am way too old now to jump into a battle that requires energy and provide any kind of meaningful leadership. But it's nice to know that I'm appreciated by some people. And so thank you very much for listening.